Dragon Wings is an improvised story. If you're a new listener, make sure to go back to episode 1.
Dragon Wing!
Make way!
An acolyte walks over and tries to hit you with his cudgel. Which is going to be 8 versus AC.
I just catch it and say, make way! And I just force him back.
A couple of others step forwards and they say, move away from the prophet.
I say, I am his disciple.
We said move away! And a couple more loom up before you. You see a few sun guards in the background as well.
I'm going to rely just on... It seems to be working. Just if their attention on him, I'm just going to thaumaturgy again. Just the symbol of Minotaur just blazes on your forehead as they're talking to you.
And I make one appear on your chin just because it's funny.
As all eyes are on the scene, you're going to need to do something like a deception or a stealth
Like
check.
sleight of hand? Because it's going to be semantic-y or...
Yeah, not sleight of hand, because that's more moving one thing from one place to another. But I go
Deception?
with... Yeah, deception. Stealth
Okay.
will work as well, whichever you'd rather.
16 for...
Just crit there, 20, so that's 23
Nice.
for
It's
me.
completely fine and you do so.
And we're up to 2 wings in hand again.
Yeah.
Need those prolonging
wings,
that holy glow.
And for in the years to come, lo, the scriptures shall read, a second prophet was revealed. And you get this renewed gasping from the crowd as others step back with this glowing emblem of the sun beaming on your forehead.
I am not a prophet. I am a mere disciple to the prophet Jacob. And I just stand by and just bow before him as he just strolls up to the cathedral.
The artist sketching is following the two of you, kind of making a note of every move as well.
Okay.
What are we doing? Are we sort of just sticking a bit behind so we can sort of just cast thaumaturgy
We're the
wherever?
PR agents.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, you're my
Later,
That's what we are.
later on today, some will swear at that moment the clouds parted and the sunlight shone all the more strong. But side by side, the two of you step together along the street. It's almost like an incredibly slow bicycle-less Tour de France. People lining the street. Absolutely.
Is there a man dressed as a devil running along behind us going,
I turn to Jacob and say, I guess, shall we? And I interlock my fingers into his hand and we just lift our hands up into the air.
And we walk down the
Arranged
street.
and just like, everyone's just like,
And out the corner of my eye, I think, I cannot believe this is working.
You're a great actor, mate. You are so good.
I'm a born performer, thanks.
As you step,
Yes.
this kind of gentle chorus begins to soar from the crowds, which is this long forgotten ancient language. But here and there, you hear some recognizable words around, you know, the etymology of light, sun, grace, peace, power. As you sweep through the crowds, this kind of soothing kind of chanting.
Sun.
Yes. Light sun. Light sun, heaven.
Beams.
I start strumming
Radiance.
a lute just in sort of harmony with the general ebb and
turn-
flow
I
of the
turn
crowd
back and
as
say-
I follow them.
I turn back to Scar and say, it's not the time for the lute. Get the bagpipes.
As
Get the bagpipes
as
out.
two acolytes approach you, their cudgels swinging. You think you hear them say just before the cudgels connect, you haven't even been sun-blessed. The first it's going to be 11 versus AC. The second a 20.
The first one misses, the second one hits.
Okay. And you bat off one as the other clangs into the back of your head for 10 points
Jesus
of bludgeoning
Christ.
damage. It was a high roll.
Yeah.
And
Splits
he
the back of my
says,
head open.
Do not interfere with the divine. Heathen.
I immediately cast thaumaturgy upon his face
Yeah.
for the sign. We are the world.
I turn back and I just glowing.
Yeah.
Turn back and say, "How dare you hit a supporter of the prophets?"
As nothing's
Nice.
symbol blazes
It's
on my
going to
forehead.
need to be deception or stealth, but you can take advantage with that distraction from Cassius.
Ooh, 17.
Good enough. And lo, was a third prophet revealed unto the flock.
Carry on strumming, just like wincing. A little bit out of tune because I'm a bit concussed.
I come over to you. Are you holding the bag with the chicken wings?
Yeah.
So I bend down towards you, I touch you, and I wail very dramatically about my love
Strong.
for the sun, putting my head down, eating a small bit of chicken wing and coming back up glowing.
All right.
Yeah, nice.
And I go,
All right, you touch
Me
him.
as well.
The three of you are unsurprised as no fewer than 3 cudgels come swinging your way.
but I've eaten some of the wing.
Yeah.
As she begins glowing.
Yes. The first one is a crit. The second is 6 versus AC, and the third is 6 versus AC.
So hit, miss. I scream as they're laying into me, but I'm glowing!
Oh, they were low rolls. Just 6 points of bludgeoning damage as 2 don't make their mark, but 1 hits home. Kind of hits you in the stomach.
As nothing falls to one knee,
Mhm.
as she begins to glow, I kneel with her.
Mhm.
And I just place a hand on her shoulder
Yes.
and say, hold your arms, for she is blessed by the sun.
This is the Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As she begins to glow.
Yeah.
And what happens?
But no symbol?
I don't think I can very well be like,
I'm going to fall to the floor face down.
Yeah, and you hear a whisper from the crowd like, oh, no symbol, no symbol. A Minotaur not blessed her.
I fall to the ground.
how, as this happens, I look to Jacob and Cassius.
Yeah.
I can
and I
hit
say,
the chicken wing.
kind brothers, show me your faith and pray for our sister. Pray loudly and vociferously so that the masses may hear you. Show them your love for God, with a very pointed glance at Jacob, and wait for them, hopefully, to start praying loudly and vociferously.
I guess I walk around and I place my hand and I turn to some of the supporters that are lining the street and say, a Minotaur, make it a better place.
And some of them are writing down the lyrics.
Yeah.
For me and the
While he is tunelessly singing,
Yes.
I try again.
Oh,
And
you're
cast
going. You're
try
going.
and cast my cantrip upon my own face.
And I'm kneeling over her
dying.
as if I'm laying hands upon her, covering her movements.
We get it. It's fine. It's all right, go on.
Done. Make
No, it's not.
a better place for you and I just
It's
start
weird you're
crying
singing about Baldur's Gate as
because
well.
I just think about
Not even the
my
right-
daughter in a fucking crystal shard.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay.
9.
9.
Yeah.
You see a couple of them very obviously catch some of the incantations of the spell, and suddenly there is a cry of false prophet from the crowd as they all start swarming and grabbing you, and others
Just
try and block
me.
the way, just you, and they start furiously trying to apologize. They're bowing before you. These sort of crowds of apologetic robed people are surrounding you. In the meantime, nothing. You are spirited away, restrained. You can try a quick strength check.
Ooh. 14.
15.
Oh.
They had advantage because there are lots of them.
Yeah.
But you are whisked up the road and towards the Solar Cathedra.
Oh.
The rest of you are very aware of that happening. But at this point, it's either stick with the illusion, or otherwise you're possibly running the risk of breaking your cover.
I think we lean into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that should we go here's and sort of we're processing, there's noise around us, we're looking very humble, and sort of we're whispering quietly to each other as we talk, as if we're muttering utterances to a Minotaur. Look, maybe, we approach Bartimus and our lesson of tolerance to a Minotaur, we stop our we stop nothing from being burned.
Mm.
And that is the lesson that changes this fucking crazy religion. And hopefully we find out where this fucking flower is and we have a chance to dismantle whatever weird cult is going on here.
In the absence of a better plan, Osgarian, I'm with you. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm shitting my pants at this point. I am way out of my depth.
We are all way out.
At this
Right
point, sweating under the intense gleam of the sun above and surrounded by fanatics, it is a mechanism that you at this point are probably unable to dismantle. You're being simply led and swept up towards the Solar Cathedra. The first thing of note that you reach as you climb the hill, the air becomes noticeably warmer and your skin feels hot to the touch and you begin reddening as you climb. It feels like the sun itself is becoming all the more intense.
How tall is this hill? Is it just a hill and
It's not that tall a hill,
Park Street?
but it's Park Street in Bristol, UK. And the things that you notice, I'd say, conspicuously, strategically placed along the street, every 200 feet or so, are these heavy, what you would describe as glowing rods. They're tall, they're metal, and they're tipped to the point with this just swirling, fiery crystal. And each crystal, as you pass it, is emitting this thick buzzing noise.
And heat, presumably.
Well, funny you mention that. The air just above them is shimmering as if with heat.
Yeah.
But that shimmer raises all the way up into the clouds.
Okay. All right.
Of which there are few at the moment.
Yeah.
But you keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Being possessed.
The three of you can make a quick Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, okay.
Nothing. For the time being, you're out of action.
Absolutely.
8.
From Osgarian.
11.
11.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
What do we hear in the background? A little pop. That's 4 wings in hand.
That's 4 wings in hand. You can also see that some of the followers are fanning Pluckers, and she's kind of strutting behind you as well, proudly.
With my 8, does
Yeah.
anything bad happen?
Yes, with the 8 and the 11, your skin begins to burn from the intense heat of the sun. It's like nothing you've ever known in terms of just sunlight within 30 seconds. You're both going to take 3 points of fire damage.
Jesus Christ.
And the air here feels almost thin. The sun is unnaturally warm. Before long, you are at the cathedra.
Okay.
Up ahead is this turreted, gleaming temple. It's made out of near seamless white stone with a large open set of double iron-banded doors. The front of the building is adorned with long stained glass windows, and most of them are depicting a man in several poses reaching up towards a gleaming sun in the sky. In at least one of them, he is tending to a sunflower.
As in a
flower.
literal sunflower? The flower?
A sunflower. Yeah, the kind of sunflower that you would know from IRL. 2 members of the armoured sun guard are stood on either side of the door, and they just nod to you, but they don't make any move to intercept you or stop your passage. In fact, their eyes widen as they see the procession around you, but they don't seem to be an impediment.
It's more like, I guess, what they're seeing is what the guards in Aladdin saw when Prince Ali arrived, right?
Yes.
And then everyone's just
Exactly.
like, make way for Asgardian and Cassius. Dun, 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 dun.
That's pretty much it. Last thing you notice is a voice. It is a high angelic voice singing powerfully from somewhere within the temple in a long forgotten language, which none of you immediately recognize.
Okay. We make our way inside,
Okay.
I presume.
Yeah. I mean, inside the temple, it's this single large hall. It's just resplendent and gleaming in gold leaf and bright, colourful works of art, all in homage to Amanator. Ahead of dozens of rows of pews is an altar upon which sits a small glass dome. Within the dome is what appears to be a plant pot containing some kind of small sunflower.
What could it be?
The sunflower is perfectly symmetrical with bright golden petals,
Okay.
and it's softly glowing, emanating its own gentle yellow hue. All of a sudden, the glowing connection and the fanaticism around you is starting to make a bit more sense. The crowds, though, leave you behind. They're standing outside. Some of them have hands clasped, eyes wide, some teary-eyed, but you enter in alone.
Okay.
Do the doors close behind us? Are we alone in the cathedral?
The
or-
doors are not going to close behind you.
Okay.
They are open and swung open, and at the moment the guards are stood in front of them. There are also a couple of acolytes in the room with you, but nobody from outside is going to be coming in. Beyond the altar, there is a door with a curtain covering it, and you think that somewhere behind there is the source of the singing.
What now?
That's a false icon, mate.
You're telling me?
That's the
Let's
surely
go-
that's the play. That's the play. It's a false icon.
Oh, right.
Let's
Okay.
go up to the flower and slightly lift it up. Lift up the little sheen, take a petal. Someone causes a distraction. I've got a little hand that I can cast.
Okay.
That's normally good at distractions. It's the cathedral that now that we're in the cathedral, the doors are open and everything's like that. Are there other people in there? Is it lined with people, or is it just us in that
It's
cathedral
us,
in that
a few
atrium?
acolytes,
Few acolytes
2 guards.
going about their business. There are 2 guards just outside.
Okay,
Yeah, they can't see you from here.
sure.
Okay, brothers. I say this not in a stage whisper out loud now. Let's make our way to the altar, there to give thanks to God.
An acolyte in the room says,
God.
"Yeah." An acolyte in the room says, "Shh,"
My apologies.
which as that echoes around the hall.
Towards the potted flower we process. Is there any? Do we see Bartimus anywhere or a senior looking figure?
Everyone around here seems uniform at the moment. White robes, sun emblazoned on the chest, scorch mark in the forehead.
Yeah.
Are there any? Is there a lectern at the front or anything like that that I can easily push over, or like a?
Yes,
Okay.
there is. Couple of also candle holders, candlestick holders.
I'm
that
going
sort of
to cast Mage Hand and just put it by a candle, like a tall candle holder near the front.
Yep.
So we walk on past it. It's just there waiting for my signal.
Yeah.
And I just want to, when we get around the potted plant,
Mhm.
I'm going to push this little candle holder over, and then someone, or maybe if you guys want to block the view, I'll just pour it up, take a petal, put it down, and then.
So, are we? Is this like Jesus and the Moneylenders sort of setup? Is that what we're going
No,
for?
so I
Like, Taryn,
don't know that story.
I mean, this is a very ropey reference for me. But didn't he
Do
famously?
a better reference.
Okay. Is this? I can't think of one. He went to the moneylenders and was like, "This is bullshit. I'm
Okay.
going to fuck all your shit
A
up."
bit of a common
Sorry.
or garden iconoclasm. We're going to go in here and
Right.
say,
And I don't know my Jesus stories either, but you're saying Jesus said, "Fuck this bullshit." What was
Fuck
it?
this bullshit.
Okay.
that's the extreme street Bible, isn't it? I think.
Street Bible. South.
Yeah.
It's the Lewisham Bible.
Okay.
That's what that is. So we
We're not fucking the bullshit.
no, but
We're
we
just going to cause a distraction, take a leaf, put it down. We're still here.
But this man is fundamentally opposed, and by this man, Jacob is fundamentally opposed to everything that's going on here.
Cool.
Right? I just want out. I would quite like to get nothing back because
Yeah,
we
but
put
we're
her
here
in
to take
danger.
it. We're here to take a leaf and to find our book. So let's get the leaf while we're here,
Okay.
and then find our book. Get our.
I mean, Jacob is
Yeah,
a
nothing.
monotheist in a polytheistic world. He recognizes all other gods and doesn't have an issue with them. It's just he doesn't follow them.
Okay.
But sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. Now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Character notes.
That's just mad dogma.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So we process towards, with no better idea of what we're going to do, we process towards the potted flower
Yep.
Okay.
at the centre of the.
All have a little kneel
sept.
and a pray and a bow.
Mm.
Stand up if you guys want to block my view.
Okay.
Block the potted plant, and then Mage Hand knocks over the candle holder.
Yeah.
Clattering, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's distracted by that.
Yeah.
And I put behind the... Oh my... There's going to be a fucking alarm on this pot plant, isn't there? Oh my god.
Yeah. That little glass dome
And
is
didn't
not
do
gonna be-
anything.
Right, great.
No, fuck it, I left it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you, first of all, you do it. The candelabra, not candelabra, the candle holder falls, clatters. Immediately, all of the acolytes look up. And as you reach for the glass dome, you cross the threshold of the rather conspicuous runes on the floor.
Nice.
Obviously.
It's the famous, did you check for traps?
The
No.
answer is no.
You did not.
And
Bullshit.
and I'll tell you now, you were just lifted off your feet with this explosion.
Good.
Cassius is lifted off his feet
Yes.
by the explosion.
Well, Garrett and Jacob are fine.
Was Garen and Jacob are not lifted off their feet by this explosion?
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The rest of you see almost like a mushroom cloud. Around, just searing, burning light. This explosion, the pews themselves are blown backwards as you just see this silhouette of a warlock hang in the air as the flames engulf him for 25 points of fire damage.
Okay, nice.
Team Rocket are blasting off again.
Cool. Okay, I'm still barely alive. I'm minus.
And you fly across the room.
I'm
and
on minus 25.
So
Yeah, I'm on.
you're
Two.
on minus 25. How many hit points have you got?
I had 12.
Right. And what's your total hit points?
I don't think you
13.
can survive that.
13. Right. So if you're dead, mate.
That's Cassie.
Maybe.
Oh, Jesus
So
Christ.
hang on, you had plus 12 hit points.
Yeah.
And you took 25. Yeah, that puts you to minus 13. I think. Is that right?
Does it?
Yeah.
Then I'm on.
He's on.
He's
He's
all right.
on. He's met it.
Mate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's on
yeah,
minus
you're right.
13.
Meets it, beats it. But from which perspective is the...
So he's on minus 13.
He's meeting the challenge,
If
so he's
you,
beating it.
look, if you've got...
If you go to minus 14, you die. He's technically on like 0. If
What's
you
your max hit points?
13.
13.
So minus 13.
I think that is
13 minus 20 what?
So he's on minus 13.
5.
Let's see the rule.
He
of
was
this.
on 12. His maximum is 13.
Right, so he was... But what were you were at max hit points, weren't you?
No.
You were at 12 hit points.
Yeah.
And you lost 25 hit points. How much damage did that blast do?
25 or 23.
23.
23.
Okay, so 12 minus 23. 23 minus 12 is 11.
If you die, if the remaining damage equals or exceeds your hit points.
Jesus
is
Christ.
what the players
So he's
have
on minus
maximum.
11 if it was 23.
It was 25.
Oh,
Oh.
it was 25.
So
So,
he's...
Peace out!
Oh shit! Oh shit!
as the remains
Oh god!
of Cassius flings across the room and clatters into the pews,
Fuck!
there is just this searing, searing plume of smoke emanating from the corpse.
Fuck!
Always check for traps, and I will take on your fight to find your tortoise crystal.
So endeth Cassius Mutara's story.
Oh shit!
Oh, fuck.
Cassius getting blown up trying to take a petal. What a
Jacob can't quite believe what he's just seen. His new friend Cassius has just disintegrated in front of his eyes. Jacob has this sort of newly found power to help people and heal them with his hands, which he doesn't really understand, but he knows he can do it. But looking at the pile that is now Cassius, that looks like it's probably beyond his abilities to heal.
Cassius getting blown up trying to take the petal in the Temple of Amanator. Osgarian wasn't really sure what to make of it. They've not had the smoothest of starts as relationships go since they met in that will reading in Tazir, but the barefaced idiocy of taking something that was clearly heavily ensorcelled just beggared belief. This was truly thumbing the nose in the face of almost certain death.
Cassius, I guess he was just excited. Getting that extra ingredient for the chicken rub, he was excited about beating these fiends, but it ended up being his downfall. R.I.P.
The sunflower, if you're interested, is untouched, unharmed.
That's nice.
The runes form a crest that looks like a sun, but as you peer a little closer, you can see that there are individual rune words that form each branch of the sun. But it's, again, it's not subtle. Alas.
Classic.
Yeah.
Right, very quick timeout. So this is production-wise. This is like 13 episodes into the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fine.
Can you come back as Cassius's ghost?
We will discuss over a pint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right. So, oh shit. Back in game. Oscarin
And Jacob are
just kneeling, eyes wide, utterly shocked. Still, like we've seen so far. We've seen people stabbed. We've seen a dwarf knocked out. We've killed a giant bird.
Yeah.
I haven't killed anybody ever.
We've smashed some trees.
You've killed people in the arena, but this is a friend who we've just seen like eviscerated. And I'm just sort of kneeling in utter shock, and I have no idea what to do.
The hunt for the chicken wings has got fucking real.
Fuck yeah.
This is...
And it was at that moment.
Jacob,
You hear that as a death rattle?
Yeah.
It's just Eric leaving the body.
I mean,
And then he also saws himself.
I run over to Cassius's body
Yeah.
and see what I can do.
Don't you
You know, like chest compressions are just a bit
Holding
flat.
like an arm and a head and a leg.
Yeah.
As you try and feel for a pulse, and your hand just goes through him.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
and I sort of sit back and put my head in my hands.
Are his remains glowing?
I mean, they're on fire probably.
They are smouldering.
Oh, that's not the same.
The acolytes are obviously all notice that, and as soon as they see that the intruder's been dealt with, they sort of go back about their business. They don't associate the two of you, Jacob and Ascarin, with him.
We've not been made.
No.
Fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right.
I love just like this.
Jacob just looks up, mutters a silent prayer under his breath for Cassius.
Does a tear
Cassius.
fall? I guess.
They well up. Yeah. But he has to quickly brush them away because obviously he can't.
Right. Oscarin takes a deep breath, and this is a defining moment for him because he's never seen anything like this before, and he comes to the conclusion. He tries to just sort of like justify it in his head. He does some mental gymnastics. This is just like any performance he's ever done before, and the performance isn't over until you leave the stage. And if he fucks it now, he's dead as well. And Oscarin doesn't want to die.
You're now having this existential crisis.
Right?
Yeah, you've seen death.
Fucking
Take a breath,
too right.
take a
I'm
breath.
having this existential crisis. Oscarin doesn't want to
straight,
die, and the only thing that's holding him together is the fact that he's trying to rationalise this as a performance. He knows his friend has just died. His travelling partner has just died.
His just
You hear the wise words that always... Look, you're a fucking kid, mate. Time to grow up, nut up and shut
Not
up.
up or shut up.
No.
Amen.
in the
Such
meantime,
wisdom.
nothing. You were dragged away. You weren't harmed, but you were restrained. You were led quickly up the pathway, and a kind of ointment was spread over your bare skin as you made your way up the hill. This kind of cooling, soothing balm.
Yeah.
And you entered the Solar Cathedra.
Yeah.
You were summarily ushered through the main hall and out the back door, and down a set of stone steps to a kind of dungeon prison of sorts. There are 3 cells, and you're led into one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You see something in one of the guards' hands pass over the lock. It clicks, opens, you're put in, and it's shut. And they walk away. The only other people in the room with you, in one of the adjoining cells of 3, are 2 gnomes, a man and a woman. They are
Gnomes.
completely dirty. They are beaten, bloodied. They have obvious burns, recent, festering over their body. And they look a sorry state. The man is sleeping, and the woman, her head lolls to one side as she takes a look at you, and she sort of nods as a kind of hello.
I nod back and I say hello. Is she willing to talk, or is she sort of semi-passed out like the fella is?
She is barely conscious, though she says, hello,
How long have you been here?
just a few days.
Good.
My husband and I. And she strokes his hair lovingly.
Yeah.
And of course, my boy. And she begins to cry.
Well, have I got good news for you, lady?
What is it?
We saved him from the pyre.
And at that moment, you hear this just explosion as the walls themselves shake and shudder, and bits of mortar and dust fall from the roof.
I immediately leap up and look to see if there are any holes or gaps that have formed due to the explosion.
Not that you can see, but you can start doing your investigation roll.
Okay.
The two of you back upstairs, Osgarin and Jacob, you're joined by a third figure, who is the gnomish boy. He's still wearing the that you saved from the pyre. He's still wearing the rough spun tunic, though he's awake. And he runs after you, and he says,
Hello there. You guys better see me from the pyre.
I can never get over the gnomish accent. It's
Yeah.
great.
he's a young boy, he's a young teenager.
That we did. It seemed like the right thing to do.
Hey, but my parents, they're downstairs.
How did you manage to end up on a pyre like that?
I just...
Good looking boy like you. Pie like that.
We follow a different god than them.
You should probably leave this place. Where are your parents?
As I said, downstairs in the dungeons.
I wish I could narrate the face that you're pulling doing this accent.
And what's your name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy the gnome. Okay, cut back
Well, my parents
to
call me Jez, so
Jez.
Jeremy,
Wait.
can you lead us to them?
downstairs somewhere. I don't know.
Cut back to nothing. Nothing. How was your investigation roll?
18.
No holes that you can see. With an 18, you can see that this place is incredibly, firstly, old and incredibly well built. The metal is untarnished despite its age, and the locks are a kind of artificery unknown to you. Completely next level professionalism. This place was built to last and to keep whatever's inside it inside. The mother says to you, "You mean our boy Jizz is okay?"
Yes. So me and my friends, and I very much was part of this, really wanted to save him when we walked into the city. We saw a child, innocent and held up there. So we thought, well, why not? We would so we pulled off this sort of amazing sleight of hand trick by putting out the fire and marking his face with the sign of the sun god, and they saved him. So he's alive out there somewhere. We've got to get out and find him.
They said, "Oh, if only we could."
Sorry, what?
I'm trying to mimic your accent.
It's a mixture between Northern Irish, Scottish, and maybe the Indian.
I will try and do that, whatever this accent is. She says, wake up, lover." And the man wakes up and goes, "What is it, woman? I'm trying to sleep." And then he convulses in pain and says, "Oh, our poor boy, will be soon to join him."
I've just explained to your wife, we've not really got time for all this whinging. Your son's all right. We've got to get out of here.
Okay, back up to the rest of you. The two of you, Cassius Asgara... No, sorry, not Cassius. Sorry.
Not Cassius.
You can definitely not Cassius. Jacob and Osgarin and little Jeremy, Jez, the gnome. You make your way to the back of the altar, you part the curtain, and before you is just a simple set of spiral stone steps. There are a set leading upwards. The angelic singing that's been going on this entire time is pointedly coming from upstairs. And there are also a set of stairs that wind down.
Are we downstairs? This is the downstairs.
Jeremy, slow down.
I know, hey, wait, I said the downstairs.
Jacob, do we
What is it, boy?
do we go and find the head of this, or do we go and get nothing and then go and find the head of this? What do we? I have no idea. Those are the two options, right? We try and talk our way out of this because I'm in no condition to fight, or do we go and try and get our friend and then maybe go and confront the head of this? And I guess in my head, I see us walking out of this as the new heads of this church, having dethroned by way of calling him out as a false prophet.
Well, we'll need to break nothing out eventually. I think we should do that now. I think we should go down, break her out and little Jeremy's parents, and then at least we're in a position to make a quick escape if we need to.
Jeremy, do you know the way?
I have never been to the cathedral before. But
Follow your heart.
as
Jeremy,
I said,
follow your
probably
heart.
downstairs somewhere.
Cool. I'm
Prisoners.
going to cast Healing Word on myself as we make our way downstairs because I'm on not very many hit points.
What's the word? Yeah.
What's the word?
Elastoplast.
I offer a prayer to Ogma, who is the god of performers and itinerant bards, and just will myself to make my way through this horrendously trying performance.
Is the word though?
The specific word?
The specific word.
I just say to myself,
a healing word.
just break a leg.
Oh, lovely. Okay,
That's
nice.
Break a leg. Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Right.
You make your way down.
How about
Just down 20 or 30 or so steps, you open up into a small dungeon of sorts, 3 prison cells, and immediately you lock eyes with nothing. In the middle cell of 3 are 2 gnomes.
Mama, Papa!
that?
As you see your parents,
Yay!
you
Come on,
rush over
guys.
to them.
I brought some heroes to escape.
Nothing. We have some sad news.
What is happening?
Did you hear a sound, say, 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, there was quite a loud bang.
That was Cassius.
Such a good soundbite. Yeah.
What's that gone and done?
His most terminal action, I think he triggered a trap and it blew him to pieces.
No fucking way.
I wouldn't joke about this. He was trying to get the flower.
I saw the dead body upstairs. It's fucking bro. Fucking blood everywhere.
What are you? Yeah.
Even nothing is quite shocked by that.
Yeah.
She's pretty surprised.
Shit just got real.
Let's get the fuck out of here then. Come on. How are we getting out?
The only way we get out of here
How locked is this door?
The doors are very locked. There are 3 distinct locks on each of the doors. Nothing is in the cell to the left, the gnome's in the middle, there's an empty cell to the right. Each of the locks don't sport the symbol of Manator. In fact, they sport some kind of other twisted iconography. Doesn't look like a creature exactly, they look like patterns.
Okay.
So it's like something that could be picked.
There's a mechanism.
There are several holes in each of them on the top, side, and front, as well as a series of buttons. It is incredibly complicated.
And we have no recognition of the symbols of the iconography.
You can have a go if you want to do a history check.
I'll do 1 too.
Yeah. See if you get a picture of
I
them.
rolled a 1,
This is
Okay.
Oh, it's 6.
6.
and in the very, very distance, you just hear a very faint.
Pluckus is done with you.
Oh, in that case, I hear a very close by.
well, this sort of thing is really not Jacob's forte, so this is a -1, but it's still 16.
That's not bad. 16. But the rest of you got very low. 5 and a
Yeah.
1, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
With your 16, these are of a dwarven construct. These locks. An ancient dwarven construct.
They're good at locks.
You could recognize old dwarven writing and artificery if you were to see it with that kind of roll. This isn't anything that you recognize immediately, but you can see some root similarities. Old indeed. And again, for it to be in this kind of working order is beyond belief.
The guards had a key to get me in here. I think we've got to go in here and ambush them. It's the only way.
Whoa, first death. Will it be the last? If you have a spare second, we would really appreciate a lovely review on whatever you're using to listen to us. Please also let your friends know about us and say hello on Instagram and Twitter @DragonWingsPod. Thanks again and catch you next time.